Late night napping. Late night yapping. What do I make today? Well, lately I've been doing requests. So this is a request. You'll see what it is in a little while. This is a piece of heat treat. 425 degrees. Snap in half type chert. It seems well suited for what I'm going to make, so let's try it. And well suited in the shape. We'll see. Yeah, it looks okay. So what do I talk about during this Flintknapping session? Because this is a yap session. You'll have to wait a few more videos for the no talk. I think I'm going to do 3 annoying yap videos for every no talk. Yeah. What do you think? Well, let's see. I gotta be careful with those because they can ruin the whole piece. So how to get rid of that square edge? How is it gotten rid of? Sometimes it's very difficult, but since this is a heat treat, it probably won't be that difficult. Second thought. Let's see. That one broke in unexpected ways. You might say, really? No, it's snap in half chert, like I said. There's some cherts that will snap in half easier than other cherts, and that one is the king of snap in half cherts. Where it comes from, I don't know, but I have a lot of it. And I have a feeling that most of it was gifted to me, probably for that reason. As long as you keep it thick, it makes nice points, though. Yep. Because it is, that other chert that broke, it is kind of translucent. And it pressure flakes well. Anyway, let's see. Can we do something with this one? As long as it doesn't get too nasty in the middle there. Saving the good flakes, by the way. I got a lot of requests for flakes this week. I'm not selling any flakes on the side unless they're low quality stuff. Keeping my best quality stuff for the auction. So if you want flakes, I got low quality flakes. When I say that, there's usually no takers. Why do I laugh? Because I can devote more time to this kind of stuff if I don't have to do the boxes of flakes on the side. Yeah. You know, unless someone is really, really desperate, and there are sometimes people can't get any flakes at all that are worth anything. So yeah. But fortunately, there's not too many people like that. They usually figure out a way to get stone that they can work. Yeah. Some of these flakes with Cortex work pretty well for small points. Even if some of the Cortex is still on there. Okay. My sons were watching videos and movies all day. And they watch political videos. Yeah. I got a big dose of that today. I'm not going to talk about it, but just to let you know. Just to let you know, I'm well versed in the current political stuff. I say stuff just to be nice. All right. It's all theater, drama. Yeah. Someday I'll use those little bitty flakes. Yeah, when I look at the artifacts of some of the real arrow points, some of the bird points, so-called, they're really very, very tiny. You know, I can make one. I can make one of those little bitty bird points out of something like that. That's how tiny they are. And there's discussion of whether they are blowgun dart points or something like that. I don't know. I don't know enough about the blowguns and stuff. I don't think they were used all that much. Why use a blowgun on a small game when you can just set a trap? Or set more than one trap. Like, you can set up 10, 20, 30, 40, 1,000 traps for a small game. And multiply your efforts. Each trap multiplies your effort. You know, you can set a bunch of traps every day, including traps for fish. And so instead of just one person hunting, all those traps are hunting for you. So that's the way to do it. That's what I would do. It would take me all day to hunt one animal, right? Come back with one animal. Or I can set, how many traps can I check in one day? 20? Set and check. 20 traps. I don't know. I need to look into trapping more, so I'm better able to talk about it. But I imagine it was a very vital part of our human development and our brain development. So if you were a trapper and you can get your food that way, why would you need Flintknapping? Very interesting question. Well, you gotta butcher the meat that you trap. That's one reason. You gotta butcher it for sure. You also have to defend your traps against humans. And predators are too smart to get caught in the trap. Yeah. How are you gonna get an animal when it's too smart for the trap? How are you gonna do it? Well, you gotta make some other kind of weapon to either defend yourself or to hunt it. So I don't think the Flintknapping stuff was the preliminary method for finding food. I think it was a secondary method. The primary use for stone is for the harder things to kill. Yeah. Stuff that's too smart for traps. If you have a problem with it in your area. Yeah, I'm reaching the limits of my ability with this billet. I wish I had better skills with it, because I gotta admit it's pretty good for saving time. If you're good with a billet, you can save a lot of time. Yeah. So if it's a time saver, did they use it back in the day? Yeah, I'm thinking that they used it a lot. You know, I was not too fond of the billets in the beginning after I experimented with them and didn't get any good results. I was thinking, they're not that good. But after many, many times of using them, expecting different results, or hoping for different results, doing the same thing over and over with them, I'm finally getting some different results, and they look pretty good. Except when I do that. Now, what is that? That may have been an incipient crack on the edge. Yeah, when you reach the limit of your ability with a certain tool, this is what happens. One of the things that happens. And I'm trying to figure out if it was me. I think it was me. I'm just too aggressive with it when it gets too thin like this, hoping that I will get better results. But, you know, I got to break a lot of these to get the results I want. Okay. Eventually I'll get results that I want. So we won't take it, I won't take it as far on this one. I got a lot of potential cracks in there. The one just before this, yeah, that was a nice one. Had some good potential. Oh well. This one's got some internal issues, so we shall see what's going to happen. I don't have any other larger pieces. I'm getting down to the point where I've either given away or used up all my larger pieces, which is good. I gotta clean up my stash. That piece just broke when I threw it in the box, by the way. Internal issues. So yeah, no theme today. Nothing really to talk about. I kind of talk like I nap, just at random or opportunistically, whatever pops into my head at the time. I'll see if I can do anything with it when it pops into my head. If not, skip it. Is that a turtleback? Yeah. Slowly whittling it down, slowly. Hit way above center line, you see that? But that's okay. It's a heat treat. Yes, indeed. I can do that with raw stone too, but it's easier with the heat treat. Except when I do that. So what causes that kind of thing? Well, a lot of you might say because you didn't grind it. Yeah, maybe. Didn't isolate the platform very well either, I don't think. So I hit it there. It probably had a little bit of concavity in there. I can't remember now. I wasn't paying attention. Maybe that's it. I know definitely I wasn't paying attention because I can't remember. Yeah, I let my subconscious do too much of the work and it messes it up. Oh yeah, I had a dream last night I was Flintknapping, but I wasn't really Flintknapping. I was doing my usual thinking that I was gathering some good Flintknapping stone. I can't Flintknap in a dream. All I can do is look for good stone, and I was looking for good stone, and I found some good stone. But it's in the weirdest places. You know how dreams are. This stone was in an industrial area, underground, in sewers or something. And they were excavating the underground stuff through caves. And that's where I was finding the flint in the caves. What was I doing down there? Well, that's the funny part, because a lot of times in my dreams I'm where I'm not supposed to be, so I had to work fast. I had to try to gather that up before anyone saw me do it. Yeah. Does that reflect real life situations? Well, no, not really. It used to be that I didn't know where to look for stuff, so I was feeling kind of sneaky when I was first looking for stones to nap. So I didn't know, is this cool? Can I pick it up from here? I mean, it looks like I can pick it up from here. This is like a right of way or a road cut. Right, I can step out into the shoulder and pick up rocks, right? I really didn't know what the rules were. So that's what my dream is like. Can I pick that up here? What do I do? I mean, it's just sitting there. They're gonna throw it out anyway. I'm going to excavate and throw it out. So I'm going to get some. Anyway, the kind of flint that I see in my dreams is always very, very colorful. Like unreasonable colors, like very deep blue and that kind of thing. Like a glass, right? Because glass, some of the glass can be deep blue. Deep blue, very colorful red stuff. More like glass. I've had several dreams like that. I never really dream about this kind of gray stuff. It's always glass-like. Anyway, where was I going with that? I was just trying to remember if I've ever actually flint-napped in a dream. You know, because they say that you can't do stuff like mathematics or play chess or other complicated things in your dreams. And I find that to be true. But online, I've seen that argument and people say, oh, I do math in my dreams all the time. I do chess. I play chess games. I do video games. I do all kinds of things in my dreams. And I don't know if I should trust those online guys. I don't think they do. I think they're lying. Yeah. I think that's just BS. The dreams quickly go in directions where you don't plan on it going. So if you're trying to play a game of chess in your dream and it goes off on a tangent, what are you going to do? I mean, what if some of your pieces end up walking off the board? Like all of a sudden they just walk off or they disappear. Just stuff like that in your dream that pops up. Yeah. What do? You continue playing? Or do you go off and say, okay, who stole my chess piece? Where are you? And go after him. And then you're not playing chess anymore. You're chasing someone that messed up your game. Some might say, well, that doesn't mean you didn't play the game. You were probably playing it really well. But I can't remember flint-napping like this in a dream, where I had to make decisions and have the outcome be risky. That's the difference between reality and a dream. In reality, there's risks and you don't know where it's going to go. It's not, these situations are not created by your mind. They're just lucky or unlucky. Yeah, because you can't control all the variables. You cannot control all the initial conditions, all the variables. So a lot of it is just fortunate. It is luck if it ends up going right. Not all of it, but a lot of it, yeah. Like I'm depending on luck right now, again, because I reached that stage where I'm at the limit of my direct percussion abilities and I'm still pushing it. I still haven't learned. Nope. I'm still pushing it. I could snap this one at any time, especially this one because it's got weirdness to it. It looks like all the seams are healed, but you never know. But I will quit at this stage. Now, if I had a dream doing this, I probably wouldn't know when to quit. I would just randomly get distracted or something would mess me up in the dream. Yeah. So why do I talk about that sort of stuff? Well, it ties into what the subconscious does and what your conscious mind does, because there's people out there, especially online. I don't really meet them in real life too much, but there are people out there that insist that everything's determined. And not only that, but you don't have any control over it because your subconscious is making all the decisions. Your conscious mind is just there to, as a filter for data, a filter for sensations. It all feeds into the subconscious, and your subconscious spews out what you do. You're not really in control of what you do. You're just filtering all the information with your conscious mind, and conscious mind is using the subconscious directions to manipulate things. But I think that is totally wrong. And you don't know it's wrong until you start developing skills and you can see what your subconscious controls and what it can't control. And you look at dreams too to see what the dreams are able to do or what you can do in the dream or not, because you know that the dream is not all of your brain. It's just some of your brain is working. It's the subconscious, right? They think it's the subconscious working. Could be a combination of both. I mean, you can't totally shut down the conscious mind because then you won't be able to wake up. That sort of thing. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm not an expert on sleep either. Believe me. Oh yeah, I was reading about cortisol. I was watching videos and reading about cortisol levels. You know, there's such a thing as, I'm switching topics now. Switch. Totally different subject. I was watching this doctor talk about cortisol resistance. The stress hormone, I think the stress hormone is cortisol. Well, you can get insulin resistance. Everybody knows about that. But you can also get cortisol resistance, which leads to these certain symptoms. And I'm going, oh no, I do have some of those symptoms. So maybe I got it. Now, there's a danger in looking at symptoms. Well, maybe not a danger, but there's a common thing that happens that you got to watch out for is when you start studying symptoms of different diseases, you kind of tend to think that, wait a second, I got these symptoms, maybe I got that disease. I forget what they call it, but I have to watch it. That doesn't happen when I do this, the research into the different things that could be causing, unexplained fatigue or unexplained mood swings. And why do I get bummed out for absolutely no reason at all? Just the mood just goes downhill all of a sudden for no reason whatsoever. Everything's good, but the mood just starts going downhill. So what do? Take a nap? Sometimes I just take a nap and it tends to reset my brain, and I wake up and I don't feel in the same mood. That does work, but you can't do that all the time because you got stuff to do. Yeah. And besides, you already slept enough. Well, I do on most nights, sleep enough. Sometimes I don't, but anyway, I don't need to take a nap every time. It's not a perfect solution. So anyway, I was looking at it, and it's true. It appears to be true. You can develop a resistance to the stress hormone, and it leads to all kinds of complications. And it does change your attitude and all that, and your health, and many things. So I'm going to look more into it. Now, is Flintknapping a stressful thing? Does it lead to stress? Does it lead to some sort of brain abnormalities after a while? Now, that's an important thing to think about. If you are engaged in a stressful, risky activity over and over again, do you develop compulsive behaviors? Do you tend to become too perfect with the Flintknapping as a defense mechanism? Is that why some points look perfect? Because they're reacting to all the times that they broke points, and they just get too burnt out or stressed out, so they start reacting irrationally and try to make them too perfect when they don't need to be too, that perfect to get the job done. But if you're reacting to get it perfect and it works, and it tends to give you an advantage in nature, survival advantage to make them perfect, then people who react that way under stress are the ones that survive. Yeah. So are these things really made, are these things made perfectly sometimes because it's an art, or is it a reaction to stress? Or both? A lot of people would say, yeah, it's everything. It's both. It's nuancing. It's nuances. It's nuanced. And it's both. And it's everything. Yeah. That's what it is. Yep. Well, I don't know. I tend to think that maybe it is related to stress. These perfect points are a reaction to lots of failures. Some people hate the failures. They hate the broken points. They hate the flaws. It stresses them out. Yeah. Now, the flaws stressing people out, does that come from something else? From some other situations? Or is it just handicrafts, like Flintknapping? And, if it's a stressful situation in some other area of life, does it affect the way the culture uses stone? I know that hunting cultures use stone in different ways than fishing cultures. And agricultural societies use stone differently than purely hunting cultures. How do I notice? Well, it's just the artifacts. You can see what kind of artifacts are made by people who are engaged in a lot of agriculture. There's really no set patterns that I can see, but there are differences. Not a lot of times, but sometimes with the agricultural society, eats mostly plants or eats animals that they feed plants to, domesticated type animals or semi-domesticated. They develop an art culture around these stones, and you get eccentrics, you get ceremonial blades, you get all kinds of stuff that's not really related to hunting or procurement of food. That kind of thing. So it is important to know, I think, what is driving the production of the stone tools. Yeah. See, I'm reaching the limit even of the indirect percussion. I'm trying to thin down this thin point. Now I'm going to cut this top off here in a minute, but I was hoping just to be able to trim it up and not have to do any damage control. Anyway, get it thin enough and then just trim it up, because it's almost thin enough. Almost, and then that happens. Going to the islands. Yeah. I can get it. Once I trim back this edge, I can get to that. Yeah. But it's thin enough now that it can be anything I want. Basically. If I don't get it too thin, I can still run some more thinning flakes later. If it's too thin, it's hard to run thinning flakes. You know, any further thinning flakes to try to get rid of some of the step fracturing. It's already 36 minutes. Anyway, like I've said in other videos, I don't always think about the philosophical or health implications of Flintknapping. Sometimes I listen to a podcast. Somebody once suggested that I do podcasts. Or I do a podcast. But I don't know. My voice annoys even me. I don't know if I want to review my podcasts. I hardly ever review my Flintknapping videos. Why would I review my podcast? Anyway, it's an idea, I suppose. I won't be able to do it all the time because my Wi-Fi connection is usually very poor. It's been really good lately. I'm lucky here at my old house. It's been upgraded locally. Yeah, they're getting their act together here. Now, when I go back up to Vermont and New Hampshire, it's good around the universities and stuff, and the public libraries. The Wi-Fi is good, but you've actually got to be inside the buildings. You can't just sit outside the building and get the Wi-Fi. It doesn't work. It's got very short range. I tried it, believe me. Yeah, that's how I know. How do I know? I don't know. What did I just admit to? Nothing. Anyway, got good Wi-Fi here. I might do a podcast. I don't know. What do I do? I can only talk about Flintknapping for 30 minutes before I start wandering off on tangents. Yeah. Where is my copper? Okay. Yeah, this is getting too worn down. Do I have more copper? Let's see. I think I do. Should I change it on video? Let's see. Is this it? This is it. Let's see. Come on. I got nails in my shopping cart on Amazon. Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I might order those nails in my shopping cart. Finally, you know. It's on save for later. So this might be later. I'm running low. I use this size. I don't really like this size because it's too small for most of my stuff. Yeah, I need to put another one in there. Can I do it on video? Will you let me? Will you let me do this on video? Let's see. I just need to remove that forcefully. Did I drive it in too much last time? Yeah, I drove it in pretty good last time. Why don't I just use a plastic rod with some set screws? Yeah. I don't know. Or why don't I just put a piece of copper down in there and make it longer that way instead of doing this? I don't know. I don't know why I do things. Oh, this is not fat enough. Where's my fat ones? Don't tell me. Yeah, so this nail is not even fat enough. Well, I'm gonna have to order some. Yeah, I've already used, these are all my tips that I've already used up. Dang it. What is this? Maybe this is a rod that I bought on eBay. Let's see. Excuse me while I get distracted here. What did I use? What have I done? Let's see. 3/16, or let's say a little bit more, say 3/16. Is it like 7/64? I don't know. Is it millimeters? Please tell me it's not millimeters. Oh, it looks like 5mm. Dang it. Anyway, I'll look for that. I doubt that the nails are that size. Usually the nails are like this. Okay. Why do I know they're usually like that? Because that's a nail. That's why. Anyway. Why was I going to use copper? Because it naps the heat treat so nicely. I'll do this later. Do it later. It naps the heat treat so nicely. I was going to use copper to make a nice edge on it, but oh well. Oh well. Now where's my pad? Where's my pad that everyone wants me to make for them? I don't have time to make it. And I'm going to have to make another one because I don't know where it is. Okay. Am I looking straight at it? Because sometimes I look straight at it and I don't see it. Now I could have misplaced it because I was modifying something to ship out for the auction. I'm trying not to do that modification stuff because it messes with my organization, with the way I organize things. I gotta mix them all up instead of keeping them separate. You know, once I have my auction items ready for shipping, I like to keep them separate. But if I have to modify them, I gotta mix it up again with my tools and my other stuff. Aha. That's right. See, this is too roly-poly. It rolls. I think that's the problem with this one. The next batch of pads is going to be like this. More narrow. Yeah, just almost the same length, but more narrow. You know, oval shape, smaller. I won't be able to make pads this week. I don't think. We'll see. I can never plan ahead. There's always a snag. So whenever I get to it is when I get to it. And even when I force it, there shall be no snags this week. I will force it no matter what. It comes down to Dad, my shoe or my something just broke. So it's a choice between, okay, leave it broke because I gotta spend it on. I gotta spend my time on doing something else. I can't go looking for something to fix your thing. Yeah, I gotta make pads. Don't bug me. I don't want to be that guy. So just whenever I get to it, I'll get to it. Have I started it many times trying to make one? Yeah, what's the latest snag in making the pads? The latest snag is the blade, the bandsaw blade. But then I say to myself, I don't need the dang bandsaw blade. I get hand saws and stuff. Yeah, I got hand saw. The one I have is missing a screw. or it isn't anymore, but I either gotta buy another one or fix that screw. It's got, you know, to hold the blade in the wood, it's got screws. Well, one of them popped out because I keep it in my van. I guess the motion from the van popped out the screw. I lost it. I was looking for it the other day. I gathered all my hand tools together. Found out. Of all things is my saw. I don't have a bolt in it. Or it did, but it's all loose now. And I lost, it's got like a little lock nut or something. So if it starts getting aggravating, I'll just drop it. If I'm spending more than 15 minutes on it, forget it. That's it. I'm going to wait till later. You only got one saw, you might ask. You only got one saw? No, I got another one, but it's a hacksaw. I don't like sawing wood with a hacksaw. Besides, the last thing I cut with my hacksaw was a piece of aluminum, and now it's all clogged up. Yep. I think, let's see. Oh, it's not too bad, I suppose. Lost a couple teeth. Anyway, we'll see. I got it all set up out here, but I just haven't done it. Little snags here and there. I'm sure you're sufficiently bored by my incompetence. Yeah, that's what it is. Incompetence. Yeah, sometimes I feel like if I spend more than 15 minutes on something bad's going to happen. It's from years of dealing with always being on call. When you have a lot of children, you have one ear on what you're doing and one ear listening to sounds or listening to silence. And you go, wait a second, it's too quiet. Yep. All right, is that a good edge? It's not a good edge, but it's good enough for now. I can see where I'm at on the edge. All right. Yeah, and I save my flint knappings for nighttime. It's not that I want to do this at night. It just seems like the very best time. I can just go straight into knapping and not even get interrupted. Sit down, just straight into it. You know, why don't I make pads at night? I could, but then I wouldn't do the video for you. You say, well, I can do the knapping. I mean, I can do the pad video. People want to see how I make my tools. Yeah, I tried that before. And rightly so. Someone said, dude, you need to use both hands on your work. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to hold a camera, though. And then they say, well, there's such a thing as a tripod. I say, yeah, but there's also such a thing as I've got my tools set up on a little platform behind my shed, and just by coincidence trying to set up a platform near my tool is half on the platform. Trying to set up a tripod next to my tool, it's half on and half on that little platform. In many cases, try to get a good focus. That's what happened last time. So the tripod was not steady. The three legs doesn't always work. Yeah, you're saying you're just trying to be funny, dude. There's no problems. There's no problems with doing this stuff. Yeah, just making it up. Excuses. No, the last time I tried setting up a tripod, it got me so frustrated that I was paying more attention to the tripod than my workpiece, the stuff I was working. I said, screw it, man. I'm not going to do it. Not yet. I need a boom on the tripod, and I know where I can get one. Yep. Just haven't gotten it. I can make one. I improvise. I can make one. I can make all kinds of stuff from my camera setups and all that. So I got to do a video on this type of artifact. Yeah, can't do it. Gotta do my videos. Anyway, a little glimpse into what my world is like. I exaggerate, yes, I know. It's not really, you're not getting the full picture. Yeah. I'm not going to give you the full picture. Nope. I spent like 4 hours online today. I hardly ever spent that much online. I was doing emails. I was looking for various tools. I'm looking for hand tools. Anyway, the time I spent today, I was able to actually write down all my to-do list at one time. It was great. Found the stuff that I have on my to-do list. Look for this and look for that. Find out where to buy this and where to buy that. And also, I'm making you a list of nap-ins. Let's get back to napping. I'm making you a list of nap-ins. And I'll be posting a nap-in list and updating the nap-in list on a regular basis. Yep. So that's one of the things I was doing online today. Seeing if there's sufficient information to actually set up a list of nap-ins and get updated on the internet. Yeah. And then there's enough, and then I can post the nap-in information, and whoever has more information can just put it in the comment sections. Yeah. Anyway, that's coming. You can send me an email if you want to know where a nap-in is. Just drop me an email, just in case I might know, because I've been doing a lot of research on it. I got a preliminary list, but I'm not going to publish the list until I get all the contact information that I possibly can get. I'll skip some of the contact information if it's just too hard to get it, and then I'll fill it in later. But I'm going to try to get as much of it as possible to begin with. That way I don't get all that many questions. Just look at the post. Look at what I posted. Yeah. I could probably, instead of trying to get those long flakes, just wait until it's flatter, but I just can't resist. Let's see. I'll just cringe and do it. This is making me cringe because I like having width so I have something to work with, but running flakes a long distance is too hard when you're too thin. Yeah. Too hard when you're too thin. Now in this particular one, I'm going to put serrations in it, so I got to make sure I have room for those. But there's no serrations in the middle, so. Not that I know of on most of these examples. They don't put serrations in the middle, which, you know, gives you a clue on how they were hafted. If they were. No one says that they are or they were hafted. Just if they were, not having any serrations in here kind of gives you a clue. Yes, indeed. Kind of gives you a clue. You never know. I don't know if these were ground. Now, if these were ground down in the middle, that'd give you even a better clue what they did. But I don't know if they were. And sometimes when these things have use wear, it's not really use wear. It's grinding. Intentional grinding. Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. Archaeologists are usually pretty good at telling the difference between certain things because they got these fancy microscopes and these really spiffy lab coats. Yeah. You might ask, are you mocking? You said that mocking was not real humor. Yeah. It's not real humor. It doesn't stop me from using the mocking, but it's not real humor. For those of you just tuning in, I talk about depression sometimes, and humor is a good, if not the best, cure for depression, at least in the short term, right? Probably can't cure the long term, but in the short term, you don't have to be bummed out. You can just laugh at stuff. But if you're laughing at stuff that you're mocking, now that's not healthy, because it's one of those things that is very closely related to things like discrimination and such. Oh yes. Yep. Don't want to have that. And I'm not joking. Just the kind of, you know, certain thought patterns, and you start getting all bent out of shape. It's not good for your health. Anyway. I can't be thinking about negative things while I'm flint napping. You didn't know that? Have you ever tried napping while you're thinking about something negative? Like, why is my electric bill so high? I hate my electric bill. I hate it, and you take it out in your flint napping, and you end up hating what you're flint napping too, because you just messed it up. Yeah. Don't worry, I hit my electric bill too. You're not alone. It's funny how it makes you feel better when you're not alone. You feel worse if you're all by yourself. Am I the only one with this problem? Now, with flint napping, sometimes the answer to that is yes. You are the only one with that problem. You got the unlucky stone. Yeah. There's no one else with that problem. Because sometimes guys will tell me stuff, and I don't tell them this, but sometimes I'd say to myself, I never heard that before. Where's this coming from? I never heard that before. Yeah. you know, like someone will send me a picture of an artifact and say, I think it's this or that or this or that. I'll say to myself, oh, I never heard of that before. Is he serious? I mean, of course he's serious, but am I just not up on all these different types of artifacts? Or is he the only guy that thinks that way? He wants company. He just wants someone to say, you know what, you're probably right. Because he's the only one thinking that way. I don't know if he's the only one thinking that way, but he might be. Just wants company. No, I don't want to discourage anyone from sending me artifact pictures because I like them. Yeah. But there's sometimes that I have no answer. I have to say, I don't know, dude. I really don't know. And my opinion on that is, I have no idea. Yeah, but doesn't it yada yada yada? I said, well, yeah, kinda. It kinda does yada yada yada. Well, couldn't it be this and that and this and that? Yeah, I think so. Well, then you can tell that he might be thinking, just say it. Just admit it. I'm not going to admit it. Nope. I'm not gonna. I'll be honest with my assessment of the artifacts. I don't know everything. I've just seen a lot. I don't know what I'm seeing, though. In many cases, I don't know what I'm looking at. I just know I've looked at it a lot. And I thought about it a lot in many cases. And sometimes I read the literature on it. And what other people think it is. I never go by a consensus. I used to, well, I can't say never, because I used to value, if it was a consensus, I would say, you know, a consensus holds a lot of weight. I should probably go with what most people say. It's probably safe anyway. I don't do that anymore. Because it's a bad habit to get into. Yeah, consensus is not a good way to evaluate what something is. First, you got to try to figure out what it's not, if you can. And then, if you know what it's not, it kind of narrows down the possibilities, just like Sherlock Holmes used to do. You narrow it down. You try to figure out what it's not, what is not going to be the case. And then, if you can't think of anything else that it could be, the remaining thing, if there's something remaining after you eliminate all the knots, that's got to be it. Or that has a very good possibility of being it. If you eliminate all the other possibilities and the one that's left, no matter how weird it may seem, that could be, or there's a good chance that that's it. Yeah. So you look at it that way in the artifacts, your whole perspective changes. You might not think it's yada yada yada, but you eliminated the other possibilities, if you can. And then you say to yourself, well, I guess that's it then. I mean, I can't be holding on to an idea that has been debunked. Yeah. So what do I do now? I got a general shape. Now I just need to put serrations in, I guess. But I want to go thinner, especially on the edge, but I can't. I tried looking at pictures of these online, and they don't give side profiles in all cases. The side profiles that I did see were very thin. But I have a feeling not all of these were thin. And where are they thickest? Are they thickest on the ends or in the middle? Were they even? I would tend to make it thicker in the middle, but sometimes, you know, you might have a little dip in the middle, just if you want to haft it there. I don't know. I don't know how these were made. I don't have any of these as artifacts to look at. Now, do I think these were shot out of a projectile launcher of some sort? No, I don't. Personally, I don't. Too fragile for that, in my opinion. You know, I'm trying to eliminate possibilities, and these things are too fragile, I think, to be thrown. You know, you never know. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how much space I need for the serrations and how thin I can go on the ends. I would like to go a little thinner, but I'm just going to leave it. Yeah. All right. So now it's just pressure work mainly. I could try to thin down the edge. It's still kind of thick, but I don't even know if this edge was actually used. If the serrations are here, it might only be used right there, and the rest is just superfluous. Yeah. I learned that word a long time ago, and I like it. How did I learn it? Someone accused me of bringing up a topic that was superfluous. So I said, what the hell is that? This guy must be really smart to use a word like that. Turns out, no, not so much. Once I learned what it was, what are you talking about, dude? Some of the most closed-minded people are some of the, well, I don't know what to say. Some people are closed-minded, let's put it that way. You would think in the studies of artifacts and stuff, they would have a little bit of an open mind, but they don't. In many cases, they look at you like you're in a weird, like you're from another planet if you come up with something original. Or just to, throw something out there. What could it be this? Oh no, and they say to themselves, here we go. We got a guy that has strange ideas. Yeah, I mean, I just made fun of guys that have strange ideas. Right? I was just talking about some guys sending me pictures of artifacts, and they say, isn't it this, isn't it that? So I would be a hypocrite if I said I don't do that, because I do. Sometimes I bug people. Well, could it be this? Could it be that? So I try not to make fun of people who have original ideas or think of stuff out of the box or unusual, or come up with explanations that may be kind of unusual. If I make fun, I don't intend to make fun of that sort of thing. But there's sometimes that, yeah, I don't know what to say. I really don't know how to respond to sometimes some of these ideas. Anyways, I don't know. I've done a lot of serrations. I just don't don't know what to do with this. I'm just going to wing it. I'm trying to remember the picture I saw. I didn't straighten the edge before I started this process. I should have straightened the edge. That way I wouldn't have to be trying to do damage control on some of this. Yeah. I'm trying to do damage control by thinning the edge at the same time putting in the serration. Can you see? You can't see, can you? That's good because I didn't want you to see. I didn't want you to see because I was messing it up. I got a really wonky edge there. I forgot to straighten it. This one's straighter, so that might be better. But anyway. If I end up scraping on the backstroke, it's by mistake. Just in case you're wondering. I never scrape on the backstroke. Well, I can't say never, but I usually try to avoid that. All my intentional flaking is downward and not backward. Trying to make sure all those little serrations are pointy. Okay, I'm having trouble seeing that. I think my eyes are tired from all that reading today. That's my excuse. Okay. I'm just going to regularize the edge in between. Now, how were these things resharpened? I don't know, because I don't know what the working edges were. I don't know if this middle part is also a part of the working edge, or if it was hafted like this on a stick, or is held in the middle. I don't know. All right, let's see if I can put serrations in on the other side. I should just pretend that I'm doing it on a regular projectile point. Yeah, nothing special about these, as far as I could tell. You know, sometimes the serrations will be a little different depending on the artifact. But it seems like these were raised above the blade contour. You know what I'm saying? They stick out past the blade, past the blade contour, instead of just digging in depressions in between and leaving the blade contour on the top. This blade contour is at the bottom or the base of the serrations, at least on the ones that I saw. I don't know if that made sense, but hopefully. Serrations can be made in different ways, in other words. And I think you get the idea. Now, why they're made in different ways, that's an interesting question. The world may never know. Just like trying to get the answer to how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Yep, I use that example a lot. That was one of my favorite commercials growing up. Yep. Someone asked me a question, and I loved saying, "Let's find out." And sometimes they didn't like what we found out or what I found out. Yeah. I don't blame them. I don't blame them. Yes, no, maybe sometimes. Good enough, not so good. I don't know. Too persnickety. Need bolder flakes. I don't know. I don't think there's one set way to make these. There's so many different varieties. Yeah, just because they look similar doesn't mean they were used for similar things. Oh no. Yeah, that opens up a can of worms when you say that. Just because they look the same doesn't mean they're made in the same way. I mean, they're made for the same things. Just because they look the same. It is not necessarily what it looks like it is. Nope. Yeah. Well, I'm going to sharpen it up anyway, right? Just remove some of the dull spots. And for those of you just tuning in, a lot of the stuff I make, I offer in the auction, in my auction every week. And this, I think this will be one of them, right? If I offer something on the side, it's usually because it's just sitting there in a box. They already made it. Or it's a lesser quality item. And, you know, I don't want to offer it in the auction because it's lesser quality stuff. Now some of these had this part dug out as well as this part. You know, this part is concave, and then sometimes this part is concave as well on some of these. But I'm leaving this convex just because I went through all that trouble to make it wide and thin as possible, just in case they were to use this edge for something. Let me zoom out. All right. So just in case they're using this edge for something, like a ulu knife, but they're also using these serrations like this for something else. And who knows, this area in here might have been ground down. Let's see. It feels like I need to grind that down anyway. It's got a sharp little point right there. Hold on. I'm going to cheat a little bit and push off on that. It's like a step fracture right there that had a little point sticking up. So grind it back a little bit, because that's what I would do. I'd grind down the middle so it'd be comfortable to hold right there, either as a ulu knife or right there I can cut with that serration, or you can haft it on a stick. Where's my stick? Now if you haft it on the stick, it's got to be all glue. You don't want binding to be over this, and it could be like a ulu knife, right? That's what they call them, ulu knives. Just pretend this is not long. I don't have a short one, but you can haft it like this with only glue, and it'll be used as a knife this way, and you can still use it as a knife to do stuff with it this way too, but it's maybe a little more difficult. It will pop out if the glue is not a good glue. But you get the idea, I think. Semi-translucent, kind of thin. I think it turned out all right. That was my third attempt, right? Two broke before this one. Yeah. Okay. I could try to get some of these step fractures out. Like this one here, I could just dull this and then shoot more flakes in. Nah. It's good enough.